An 11-month-old from Marietta is on the road to recovery after being discharged from the Akron Children's Hospital on Tuesday. Harvey has been fighting a rare disease in his young life for the past 8 months. Our Shyla Florence was at the bell ringing and has the story for this week's This Is Home.
This is Home, sponsored by A1 Heating and Cooling and TB Dentistry.
A bell-ringing ceremony was held Tuesday for an 11-month-old after spending the last 8 months battling a rare disease. At around 3 months old, Harvey was diagnosed with HLH, an immune deficiency disorder where part of the immune system is either missing or defective.
Got here May 25th, and leading up to that, a couple days leading up to that, he just started acting a little lethargic and stuff, and I, he just seemed off to me, and so I took his temperature, and it was a little high, so I took him to our pediatrician, and it was much higher there. Our home thermometer was like 101, the pediatrician's was 105, so they sent us to the ER, Marietta Memorial ER, and they did some blood work, and it was odd.
Mary Snyder says from there, they were sent to Akron's Children's Hospital, where his diagnosis came early June. Harvey started chemotherapy shortly after his diagnosis, then received his life-saving bone marrow transplant on September 5th. After his transplant, Mary says Harvey's stay ended up being longer than expected once the side effects from his treatments caught up to him.
Up doing like an ICU stay, and then he has all the symptoms of like mucositis, which is basically where the mouth and throat kind of start, for lack of a better word, falling apart. And then he recovered and he came back, and he was back on the floor for a little while, and then he started having issues keeping his oxygen up. He was on a lot of oxygen support on this floor, and then they couldn't, it wasn't enough. They couldn't support him here, so he went back to the ICU for, I think it was 2 weeks.
Once going back to the ICU, Mary says Harvey had to be incubated for his oxygen and then sedated.
They had to intubate him to support his airways, and he obviously was fighting the mask and everything, so they had to sedate him.
Mary says they also found bleeding in Harvey's lungs from TMA, which is a common post-transplant complication.
He also had VOD, which makes the body hold on to fluids, which also makes it harder to breathe.
However, once Harvey was sedated in the ICU, Mary says he started recovering from that point on. Then once Harvey was able to breathe on his own, they were able to leave the ICU.
The guide we were given was post-transplant. It could be anywhere at the very, very least. Like, I think it was 35 days, and at like a longer extent would be 60, 65 days. And we are now at 153 days, finally getting discharged.
After having to postpone his discharge multiple times to treat Harvey's side effects, Mary and her family were happy to finally see the day Harvey got to leave the hospital.
Look forward to it, and you talk about it, and then it's actually happening, and you're kind of like, oh wow, we're actually at this point, and it's happening, and because we've seen a lot of people do it too, so it feels surreal.
After experiencing HLH with her son, Mary says she believes it's important for people to know just how important it is to become a bone marrow donor.
I think it's really important that people sign up for Be the Match, and it's super simple, it's super easy, it's no cost, and you could save someone's life, and you never know if it'll be you.
Reporting in Akron, I'm Shyla Florence. This is Home.
Harvey and his family will continue their stay at the Ronald McDonald House in Akron for a few weeks so that Harvey can continue to get blood work. They hope to return home to the Mid-Ohio Valley when that is finished.